Past 8, and it's great to have your company on a Wednesday morning. It is May 27. Andrew Patterson, good morning to you.
Morning, Paul.
Joe Cotton, wonderful to have you back. This is our panel this morning. We'll call them the Brains Trust. Andrew, I'm going to come to you first of all. A lot of people have been talking about this for the last couple of days. Should it be possible for a school and counsellors and other professionals to facilitate an abortion on a girl under 16 without the parents knowing?
Yeah, look, a very difficult one, isn't it? Because on the face of it, every reasonable parent is going to say, I want to be involved in that decision.
Absolutely.
And the issue then becomes, do you legislate for the 99% or do you legislate for the 1%?
Okay, and this nails the issue altogether, because there are very definitely two sides to every story, and you could find a horror story on both sides of this argument, Joe.
Oh, listen, being a teenage girl faced with a decision like that is massive. It's traumatising, it's stressful. And I just feel like for as many families want to be there for their daughter going through something like that, there are other families for religious and cultural reasons who would shun their daughter, or it would just make that situation
for whom it would be much easier for the
stressful.
daughter to keep it to herself or to another group of people.
Absolutely.
Rather
the
than
most important thing for any of these women, and I'm going to women and girls, is counselling. But how do you force somebody into counselling when all they want to do is walk away from something that has been traumatising? So it's pretty tough, but I don't know if having one rule where people can tell the families is going to solve problems.
And that's the trouble with the law, and that's what do you legislate for 99% or for 1%? And sometimes if the 1% is so horrific, you have to factor that into legislation. All right, Labor have had a field day with this 430 hectares that National have found looking all over the greater Auckland area. Now, obviously, this wasn't all going to be beachside property, or we would have found it ages ago. Some of it is next to substations and under pylons and next to pylons and next to graveyards. Do you think that matters, Joe?
I've watched Poltergeist, so I don't know if I would live in a house anywhere near a graveyard, to be honest with you. I feel like
Okay, quick question, another issue. Would you at night take a shortcut through a graveyard?
No.
You wouldn't. You just wouldn't walk in.
Watched horror movies? What is wrong with you?
Yeah, but I would. It wouldn't bother. It doesn't mean you're going to definitely be dragged to the ground by a poltergeist.
Not definitely, but your chances are higher.
You'd walk through in a shortcut?
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, if it was necessary, it wouldn't bother me.
Would you buy a house next to a graveyard?
Yeah, look, at least you're not going to have a lot of party problems, eh?
Exactly.
It's going to be quiet.
They're reasonably quiet.
Yeah, they're going to sort of cause a lot of trouble. So,
they've done their partying.
That's right. And look, the thing is that maybe Auckland needs to just accept that there are pockets of land that are going to be, they're not going to be desirable, but they'll be acceptable.
Why it's affordable housing, isn't it? And the alternative, and Labor, the thing that annoys me about this is that this is the opposition just being an opposition for the sake of being an opposition. Okay, Joe, obviously you wouldn't live next to a graveyard, given your fear of poltergeists.
True story.
And actually, a lot of people who are watching and listening now may not know the difference between a ghost and a poltergeist.
Yeah.
Would you like to tell us?
Yeah. So a poltergeist is the one that possesses you through the TV, and a ghost is the one that wears the sheet. So that's the difference.
Yeah, okay. My understanding was that a poltergeist is capable of actually moving things and actually hurting you, whereas a ghost can't actually touch you. It'll go for you, but it's just not even there. Do you know? Whereas a poltergeist will grab you by the throat, smash your head against the wall, flush you down the toilet.
Either. See?
A ghost will just stand back and look and laugh.
Right.
All right, what would you not live next to, Andrew?
I'm not sure. Probably, a sewage treatment plant or something where there might be some, sort of odour issues or something like that. That might be a bit tricky, but I don't know whether, if you've got a reasonable
and that's the
lifestyle,
thing, isn't it? No one's going to make these people buy these houses. They're going to be affordable because they are, as you say, slightly less desirable. All right, our panel this morning, Joe Cotton and Andrew Patterson. We will be back to talk many other things, including this. Think about this during the break, and you may have thought about it when you heard this news. So you're in a lotto syndicate. Your lotto syndicate wins, and it's your job to go and check the ticket. So in the whole syndicate, you're the only one that knows that's the winning ticket. And all of that money has been put into your bank account. Do you tell the other blokes, or do you never see them again? The panel is next. All right, great to have you with us. Welcome back. Wednesday morning, Andrew Patterson, Joe Cotton are our panellists this morning. There has been an awful lot of talk about our troops fighting in Iraq, and obviously there are a huge number of people that don't believe they should be there in the first place. In response to that, the Prime Minister has come very close to guaranteeing their safety, which of course you can never do. They're in a war zone, for goodness sake. But now with ISIS getting closer and closer to them, Andrew, there is a lot of talk, again, that they should not be there at all. Are you in favour of our troops being in Iraq?
No, I must admit I'm not comfortable with them being there. I really just don't know how effective they can be anyway. I mean, when you've got the head of the US military coming out saying there is a unwillingness of Iraq to actually fight, you wonder actually how much training can create a difference. And yet, of course, you've got to do something to stop
Well, okay,
the
and so
evilness.
here's the thing, because you say, how effective that can they be? One of the greatest effects they can have is that it sends a very clear message that New Zealand is with the United States and the other group of the willing, and we are prepared to put
But is it
our
really
money on the
making
line.
a difference, though, Paul, do you think, really, to them? I mean,
Are we winning the battle?
These people are
I don't
driven
know.
by such an ideology.
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's
Okay, so then you take it back one stage further. Is this a fight worth having? And I think to that you would have to unanimously say yes.
Of course, but is the basis of putting New Zealand troops in a situation where they are simply in a training role, which potentially is going to
God knows these people need training,
and we don't know where it's this thing is moving so rapidly at the moment.
But we have accepted, though, we're on common ground when we say this is a fight that's worth having, and we have to be on the right side of this fight. What do you think, Joe? Do you think our troops should be in Iraq?
I think I have to put myself in the position of somebody who might have a relative who is fighting for our country, for example, and I just think if, let's say, my brother was over there and 90k away from people that were beheading people and selling women into sex slavery, I would want him to be home instead. That's how I would feel about it.
So at a very personal level, you wouldn't want any of your family to be over there?
No.
But in general, this is a fight that we have to be on the right side of, isn't it? Yeah, it's hard. I mean, this is what we're showing here. It's like the first conversation we had this morning, that there's not necessarily a clear-cut answer to this. I mean, my view is that clearly we have to be part of the world that is fighting the desire for domination by IS. And the fact that we're not winning at the moment, that we haven't pounded them into a tight little corner and destroyed them, that's what fighting's all about, isn't it?
How do you ultimately sort of quash these ideologies, though? This is the great dilemma of the 21st century.
And many people would say you can't ultimately quash them. You can just control them if you can. All right, finally, and here's an ideology that's tricky. You're either a shyster or you're not. So you're in a syndicate, right? Are either of you in a syndicate for the lotto?
No.
No. Okay, so this guy, you know who we're talking about. He's in a syndicate for the lotto. He goes down. Yes, he's won. He's the only person in the syndicate that knows he's won. He gets the money. He puts it in his account and takes a sickie, and basically is claiming now that it wasn't the ticket of the syndicate, and everyone knows it was. How would you be in that situation, Joe?
I do not do lotto. I don't buy that. I play it, but I would never buy it as a gift because I would hate that sort of resentment should somebody win. I don't do the
because you would feel
syndicate
resentment.
thing.
I'd feel the same way.
I don't trust myself. Like, if my husband's like, hey, can you save me some Tim Tams? And he comes home and the Tim Tams are gone. I do not trust myself with other people's money.
Yeah.
If I can't do biscuits.
What do you think?
I think it's a simple solution, Paul. Never buy into syndicates with lotto, because you can't trust people when ultimately that decision is faced. Yeah. And people just change, as we saw. I'm sure this guy was perfectly reasonable.
Oh, he was nice. He liked his mates before.
Until he suddenly wins $50 billion. It changes people. So why take the risk?
I actually bought someone once, Joe. I did what you said you would never do. I bought someone a lotto ticket as a present, and as I was handing it over, I thought, God, I hope they don't win. They were worth a $5 present. I didn't want them to get any more money than that. Joe Cotton, Andrew Patterson, thank you both very much for joining us. It's 8:30.